for artists that want to follow a realistic style, I don't know that you necessarily have to overthink about an influence like me or any other painter who does realism. You can certainly get a lot from the pieces that we've done, maybe even imitate some of those compositions, but I think you'll find your own way once you're just studying reality, which is what I would do. I mean, if I'm going to look at people, things, photographs, it's beneficial to start shooting your own if you can get into that. And these days, since everybody's got a camera, that's not so much of an issue anymore. Being able to study life as the basis for something is the best. I had the longest problem of thinking I needed to have everybody and every element be perfect before I could use it as a reference source. And so it took me a long time to realize how flexible the basis of the human form is. I've posed for myself on loads of paintings. It's a process of getting your mind comfortable with what you're building off of. And at a certain point, I would say accept that you're going to feel like you're not seeing it until you've seen it. You know, that maybe you do need to have a thing look like a thing exactly before you're painting from it.
Word Balloon is brought to you by the League of Word Balloon Listeners. Got to take the picture down. Shame on me, Fred. Do that.
It's all good. Minor technical difficulties.
Exactly. Hi, everybody. Welcome. It's Word Balloon, the comic book conversation show. John Suntress here, believe it or not, behind this facade. Oh, there we are. All right. Good to see you, boy. It's scarier than the animation, isn't it?
We're live.
See everybody. We are live, and happy to welcome Fred Van Lente back to Word Balloon. It's going to be a fun night.
Indeed.
I hope everybody is prepared. This is usually a traditional pub quiz kind of night when you think about it. But
Wednesdays?
Yeah, I that's Wednesdays and Thursdays. I've usually seen that more so like Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah, but pre-COVID, our gang did it Tuesdays. That was our day.
I can appreciate that. Very good. We've been doing this almost monthly. And
yeah, sort of.
And I love the fact that the great Fred Van Lente, the fine, at times Marvel writer, has joined us to do this on his own and then come up with incredible questions. I know he misses running things like this at a bar pre-COVID, so I'm happy to fill the void for you, buddy.
That's right. I'd be playing at a bar pre-COVID, but here this is good too. This is good too, and I thank the League of Word Balloon listeners for joining in, and of course, John will do his best to hit the question solo, but you're unlike real in-person pub trivia, you are actually encouraged to shout out the answers to John in the chat.
Please do.
And so if he gets stumped, maybe you can help. There's a slight delay in when we get the chats, when John gets the chat, so we'll try to, keep things moving though, regardless. But you're doing well, John?
I am. Thank you, buddy. No, everything's been great.
HQ?
Yeah, did you have a nice Thanksgiving? What did you and Crystal do?
I did something very bougie. The New York Times had Thanksgiving recipes for 2. So I just did that rather than doing a 15-pound bird. We did 2.5 pounds of turkey thighs and had no leftovers, which was an unusual Thanksgiving situation. But this was an unusual Thanksgiving situation in so many other ways.
Totally. My upstairs neighbor ordered a meal, and she's like, I can only get, for 2. Do you want to share? I'm like, that'd be great. And I had already planned on, I have pulled pork that I made. I didn't eat turkey. I eat turkey all the time. But I was going to do that, and I was going to make your traditional green bean casserole, which I love.
Sure.
And so simple to make. Any idiot can do it.
The dried onions and all that good stuff?
Absolutely.
Nice.
So I was also, my only difference is I use evaporated milk instead of regular milk.
Okay, sure.
To make it thicker.
A little bit thicker, a little bit sweeter.
Yeah.
Sure.
I don't notice the sweetness, to be honest. I don't, but yeah, that's just my little move to make it just a little more different, and also add a little more beyond the fried onions. I add a little more onion powder, maybe a little more pepper.
I got a recipe for sweet potato soup.
Ooh,
that was exceptionally amazing. That was my favorite thing on Thanksgiving, with a little like Thai, like red chili pepper, like paste added to it.
That sounds fantastic.
Coconut milk. It was pretty amazing.
I haven't bought one yet, but I want to get a really good blender to make soup.
We'll get a nice big Cuisinart.
Right. Really, exactly. I'm Lucille Ball, so I still think in terms of blenders. My Philco rating
up in my face.
Wah, exactly. I also want to point out that today dropped the comic book history of animation.
Comic book history of animation. I realized
here I got the banner and everything.
Oh, you do? Oh, fantastic!
Sure. And yeah, maybe before, as we're gathering the audience and stuff, I've also I can share the screen and share some images.
Yeah, please do.
From issue 1 in particular. What I love, Fred, is beyond the obvious of the innovations and the things that these creative people brought to animation and cartooning. You also get into the terrible double dealing of the business world and the cutthroat world of movie studios and how they handled animation and these people that were coming in with these new products. And some people didn't get it. Jack Warner always gets grief of the Warner Brothers of being such an asshole.
Yeah.
But it was real. And really, Harry Warner seemed to be the nice brother, but not in terms of animation.
No, the Warner's was trying to build a brand of being all dramas, right? So I think it was Harry Warner who actually gave the job of running the cartoon side of the business to his secretary, Margaret Winkler, and she ended up becoming the most powerful producer in early animation. She's the person who discovered Walt Disney. And she also had Felix the Cat, and she had the Fleischer Brothers studio for a long time. But yeah, part of the reason that Walt Disney got anywhere was he sent this reel to Margaret Winkler called Alice's Wonderland, which were the first things he directed in the shorts, and it had this cat in it. This cartoon cat is one of the characters. Was sort of this mix of like live action Alice and these cartoon characters, but it wasn't a green screen, it was a sheet screen. He would literally film it in a vacant lot with a sheet hanged up, and then he had to integrate the cartoons with the live action later. And so she brought him on because this guy here you see on your screen right now, Felix the Cat, that creator always kept trying to threaten. The creator was always threatening to leave Margaret. He was a notorious drunk and kind of a stereotypical angry Australian. There's an evolution of Felix here, and this is of course drawn by my frequent collaborator, Mr. Ryan Dunleavy,
who knocks it out of the park.
That's right.
I love now. I love the shot of Felix urinating on Paramount's mountain.
I think that's Zucker on the head of Paramount's desk, Adolf Zucker. Yeah. You'll notice that this is a sepia tone comic, except for the P is in vibrant pea yellow.
I love it, man.
Yeah, until color film gets introduced, our book is in sepia.
And literally, you're also dealing with so many of the forgotten names of animation.
Sure.
And how do you say his name? Iwerks?
Urwerks, I think.
Urwerks, okay.
Well, that's the original spelling of his name you see on the upper right-hand corner there of the screen. Uwe Urwerks. They were Frisian, which is an ethnicity from that sort of crosses between Belgium and Holland, which I was not familiar with until I did this book. But yeah, so obviously we have Alice, who Walt is begging to come out west and perform with him. This is back when Hollywood was just starting being the hub of movies that it was, partly because they were trying to get away from Thomas Edison, who's depicted as a squid in our comic because he was deaf, and squids famously, don't have any hearing apparatus at all. Yeah, they can see but they can't hear. Also, squids very litigious. Don't hit a squid with a car because you and your insurance company will be slammed with multiple frivolous lawsuits.
Well, again, I love how, and we saw this before in the comic book history of comics, that you depict Disney as Mickey Mouse,
right?
And
Fleischer is Bimbo,
and I love that all. And really, Ryan's Ryan's just a knack of capturing, in an almost political cartoon sense, just good parody and telling these complicated stories in really fun or interesting ways. Also, you point out that essentially, and in the pre-digital world, because you can't say that anymore about the digital camera, but that all analog films were in a sense animation,
right?
Because they would capture single pictures and give the illusion of movement.
Well, my understanding of this digital cameras work essentially the same way, not literally as in you're capturing, static images on a strip of film, but believe it or not, digital cameras are all essentially single images run very quickly together. Yeah, it's the same basic. The frame rate's different, but it's the same basic concept as with the celluloid.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Hey, and also, so Comic Book History of Animation, issue 1 came out today. You were kind enough to send me the first 3 issues. Mm-hmm. It's a great story, and again, I point to already the collected comic book history of comics, and Action Philosophers, Action Presidents, and the entire Van Lente Dunleavy library of history presented in very entertaining ways. Great stuff for kids to get into, and really this new series even more so if you got an aspiring artist in your family. Yeah, they will find really interesting stories and real technique of what these people made. I mean, God, you start with Gertie the Dinosaur,
Winsor McCay. Mm-hmm.
Winsor McCay, indeed, who would do, and there are even silent films literally showing not only his animation but his stage, his vaudeville performances, where he would be on stage and interact with the cartoon. And also, you mentioned Alice from the early Disney movies. If people think of things like Roger Rabbit, or going back to the 40s, Anchors Away, the Gene Kelly film, where Gene Kelly is dancing with Jerry the Mouse and stuff. This was all at the beginning of animation, in both the case of Winsor McCay and Disney, kind of trying to explain this new novel thing and having a real life character interacting with animated characters.
Yeah, I mean, in many ways, Gertie the Dinosaur, which is both sort of the first kind of so-called character animation that you had this character, she was emoting and she had life to her and a personality, in many ways was a special effect, right? There's very little, other than the fact that it was used for comedic and rather than thriller intent. It's really no different than Jurassic Park. It's the same, you're taking an animated dinosaur and you're integrating with real life humans. It's a special effect. In the early days of cinema, they called these trick films, and the idea, and early on, you only had really animation and interacting with live action sort of as a trick, as a magic trick, as a way to wow people. And it only wasn't until the first, till the mid 20s that you actually separate cartoons, and the cartoons here and the live action here, is totally separate genres.
It's an amazing story, and honestly, how long did it take you to research this story before scripting in it, or did you do it along the way as you were? A whole
year, I'd say. I took a while. This wasn't like Comic Book History of Comics where I actually kind of knew the subject. This is largely something that Ryan wanted us to tackle. So I basically knew what I knew from doing Comic Book History of Comics, where we had to deal with some of these things as part of the comics industry. Like obviously, the Walt Disney characters were huge comic book characters, and various other things. But yeah, it took me a long time. I watched a lot of cartoons. I signed up for too many streaming services on the company card, and Ryan yelled at me. But I think
I gotta watch, man. Sorry, research.
It's all in the exactly. I fell in love with things like the Filmation Aquaman cartoon on DC Universe, which weirdly they took down for some reason.
Oh wow!
The soon to be dead DC Universe streaming service.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea what the hell the DC Universe streaming service is doing.
Now it's AT&T.
Yeah, because some of that programming did move to HBO Max,
right?
But not everything. No. And it's really, really weird.
And you can't get that in the animated series on HBO Max, but you can get it on DC Universe. The Aquaman, for reasons I don't understand, you can't get. They took it off DC Universe, which that comic was that cartoon was made for stoners. It's completely insane.
Oh my God, yes, absolutely. Good I remember
every frame. Yeah. Absolutely. So you'll see, John, there, not entirely, but there are a lot of cartoon rounds and questions in tonight's
very good
Word Balloon Pub Trivia, because I love doing it. I love hanging out with you. I love doing the show, but obviously I'm also trying to sell books here. So we got some synergy going on here.
I'm all for it. That's fantastic, man. So yeah, everybody, Comic Book History of Animation out today through Image.
Through IDW.
I beg your pardon, IDW. No, sorry, everybody.
And then 2 weeks from now, because the first issue was supposed to be out 3 weeks ago, but because of various shipping problems, it's out today. The second issue drops on December 23rd. So in 2 weeks, you get to read the second issue. So Fantastic. You can get 2 issues if you're a late Christmas shopper for that Toon Curious person in your life. You can get 2 issues by December 23rd.
I'm Toon Curious. Exactly.
That's right.
In today's pansexual world, I am sure that there's a category for Toon Curious.
That's right.
So Sailor Moon fans and the like.
And so if everyone out there in the league is ready.
Yes, we can certainly begin. I'm going to leave the crawl up, but let's point out, everybody, that it's now time for Nerd Trivia Quiz Time with Fred Van Lente.
Excellent.
And again, we are playing as a team.
That's right.
Playing as a team. So
you versus me.
Answers, well, as the quizmaster.
As the quizmaster, exactly. So, John, I'm very excited about this. And with round 1, we've been doing a number theme for every one of these. This is the 4th time we have played Word Balloon Trivia here on Word Balloon. So the first round's game is called Connect 4. Ooh. The name of the game is Connect 4. I'm John. I'm going to give you 4 chronologically connected things, but I'm going to leave one of them out. And you have to add what's missing. So that's why this game is called Connect 4.
So I have to provide the 4th answer.
Exactly. Well, it's not always the 4th one. I may take one out I may take out the first one, or the second one, the third one, the 4th one. But
I see.
You put in the blank one. For example, number 1, round 1 of Word Balloon Trivia tonight is Connect 4. Mr. Incredible, Elastigirl, blank, dash.
Okay, yeah, the daughter.
These are the Incredibles in descending order of age.
Is her name Violet?
Her name is Violet, correct. Violet. It is Mr. Incredible, Elastigirl, Violet, and Dash.
Played by the wonderful
Sarah Vowell.
Sarah Vowell, a great spoken word performer, one of my absolute favorites.
Great
hilarious
essayist. I love her history.
An essayist. Absolutely, man. Yes, and yes, Joshua is correct. Very good. Thank you, Joshua.
Very nice. Done.
Very good. Thank you for playing along.
Very nice. Number 2. Round 1, Connect 4. Number 2, Detective Comics.
Ooh.
Batman. World's Finest Comics. Blank. These are comic book titles starring Batman. Not an ensemble piece where Batman appears. Batman must either star in or co-star in this book.
Batman, World's Finest, blank.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Detective preceded Batman, so it can't be that.
Well, no, Detective. Number 2, I'll give you the whole list one more time. It's Detective Comics.
Oh, excuse me. Batman.
World's Finest Comics, blank.
Okay. I'm going to presume, and it's that stars Batman.
Or co-star.
So an ensemble, a team book would not count?
Although, yes and no. And you may figure out why, but there's a very specific reason why.
All right, let's say Brave and Bold then.
That is correct. Brave and Bold became a Batman starring book in 1968, was when that became a Batman team-up book.
Because prior to that, they were just other team-ups all the time.
Well, and just sort of, it was like Showcase, right? They'd roll out new titles.
Yes.
And one of those franchises they rolled out in the pages of Brave and the Bold was...
Justice League, obviously.
Justice League of America, which, although I do not think Batman was a member of the Justice League in its first appearance. I think
and I know that for the longest time with Justice League, the Superman and Batman editors were keeping them out of the Justice League as regular characters, and Julie Schwartz had to kind of slap everybody around and go, get him in there.
That's right. There's just so many times we can explain away why Superman is in space or has jury duty or wherever reason that he's in there.
There you go.
But yes, Langley is correct. We are looking for Brave and the Bold. Number 3, round 1, Connect 4. I'm giving you 4 chronological series of 4 nerdy things. You have to insert the missing item.
I'm waiting for my X-Men question. Go ahead.
Question number 3. Frankenstein.
Ooh.
Blank. Son of Frankenstein. Ghost of Frankenstein.
Okay, so yeah, these are all in the Universal Pictures Frankenstein series, and the second film, as we all know, the direct sequel to Frankenstein, was The Bride of Frankenstein.
That is correct. Bride of Frankenstein was the second film. My opinion, the best of the batch. I'd say it's actually my favorite / the best Universal horror film.
Well, yeah, because also it was funny at times. Oh my God, when it's in Bride where he meets the blind man.
Yes. most of Young Frankenstein is taken directly out of Bride of Frankenstein.
Right, right.
And a lot of Son and Frankenstein, actually.
And truly the original is just, you can't help it. It is this sadly tender moment where both the blind man and the monster really find a moment of peace.
That's right.
And it's just like, and literally, like, you got to give it to Karloff. Such a great performance. And finally, even some dialogue. He's so great in that. Both really every time he was the monster. So
he is. Number 4. Dr. David Keel, Miss Kathy Gale, Mrs. Emma Peel, blank.
Okay, I remember. These are the companions to John Steed
on the Avengers.
Yes, the British spy show, The Avengers.
That's right.
And so, so the Doctor was actually the very first, and it was a male character. And actually, Steed was kind of the second, the more, or maybe the co-teammate. But yeah, then Honor Blackman played Kathy.
Well, Keel was more the straight man, to sort of the innocent, right, wrapped up in John Steed's crazy espionage.
Oh, okay.
Adventure.
All right.
Yeah.
I got to rewatch those early ones. All right.
And the most famous one, of course, is the recently late great Dame Diana Rigg as Mrs. Emma Peel is the third one, and the fourth and final partner of John Steed.
Yeah. I want to say her first name was Tara.
That's correct.
And I can't remember her last name. Anyone remember Tara's last name? Tara King?
Correct.
All right,
Tara King was the fourth and final partner of the half of the Avengers.
Although it came back in the 70s as the New Avengers.
That's right.
And he had, I forget the actor who played the male, Michael Gambit, I believe was his name. And then, of course, the great Joanna Lumley as Purdy.
Yes.
And it was post-Bond girl Joanna Lumley and pre-Absolutely Fabulous.
Yes, and John Steed in that version was more of a sort of, if I remember correctly, was more of a Charlie to the Charlie's Angels.
Yeah, kind of a spy master. Yeah. You know, they let Gambit do the fist fighting and Purdy throw her kicks around and stuff like that.
That's right.
Yeah, it was pretty. I got to say, I mean, growing up on my parents, massive Avengers fans.
Oh,
I remember being very, very small and hearing that theme song, and it scared the hell out of me because it was so loud with the brass and everything.
Yeah. With the chessboard, famous chessboard.
Yes.
Number 5.
Yes.
Connect 4. Ant-Man, blank, Goliath, Yellow Jacket.
Ant-Man, blank, Goliath.
These are superhero personas of Henry Pym.
Yes.
In the comics. Ant-Man, blank, Goliath, Yellow Jacket.
Well, it's Giant Man.
Giant Man is correct.
It was just a change of name to Goliath, right. Of course. Yes, Henry Pym before he went bad.
That's right. And then he would become Henry Pym, sure.
And the Science Supreme or Scientist.
Right. Well, I think, Dan Slott called him the Wasp. Right. He took the Wasp persona, and then I think
I forgot about that. I thought you were saying because he's a white male. It's Dr. Pym. How are you?
That's right. Henry Pym. Yeah, some superheroes just never stuck. You know, Scott Lang was always the more interesting character.
Absolutely. Josh got it right.
That's right. Josh got it right.
Got it right.
Henry Pym is not even the most interesting shrinking person, blonde man or scientist on the original Avengers. He's like the fifth Beatle.
It's true.
Number 6, Connect 4. I'm going to give you a set of 4 chronologically connected geek things. You have to fill in the blank. Amok Time, Who Mourns for Adonis, The Changeling, and blank.
Wow, is that in order of second season Star Trek episodes?
Second season Star Trek.
Amok Time.
The original series episode. So in order, they are Amok Time, Who Mourns for Adonis, The Changeling, and what?
I'm sure if, and I'm not asking for this necessarily, I know my Star Trek episodes and titles. I don't remember chronological orders of like listing.
This is one of the top 3 most influential Star Trek episodes in terms of the
original series.
Overall, I'd say the overall franchise. They keep coming back to this well over and over again.
Is William Wyndon a guest star in this episode?
I doubt it because I don't think there are any guest stars. I actually don't think there are any guest stars in this episode for a very obvious reason.
So is it a bottle episode where everything happens on the ship? Yeah.
That's a tricky question. Yes and no.
Ooh. Give me the order again. Amok Time.
Amok Time. Who mourns for Adonis? The Changeling and...
Changeling, of course, is Nomad. Who mourns for Adonis is the Apollo episode. Right? I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right. So what came
Amok
after?
Time is the Spock is horny episode.
Right. I has to go back to Vulcan to get down with T'Pring.
Mm-hmm.
Dia worried spoke. That's my T'Pau episode, T'Pau imitation.
Dead on.
Later to be in a small but important role in Soylent Green, that same actress.
Okay, fair enough. I love Soylent Green.
She's kind of the keeper of the dirty secrets of what's happening as Heston is finding out the mystery behind Soylent Green.
Okay.
That's all right. I believe Langley is correct, and I will go with his answers. It's Space Seed.
Incorrect. Although this is a very good guess, Langley. The correct answer is Mirror Mirror is the fourth episode of the second season of Star Trek.
Of course, the Mirror Universe episode, Spock
right.
with a beard.
I was going to say it features heavily in the first season of your favorite Star Trek series, Discovery.
God, I hate that.
But I thought that would be too much of a giveaway for you.
That's
number
awesome.
7 in round 1, or number 7 of round 1, Connect 4. Stan Lee, blank, Len Wein, Marv Wolfman. These are the editors-in-chief of Marvel Comics.
Oh, okay. So that would be Roy Thomas.
Correct.
Yeah, I was trying to think of, like, from a creative standpoint, what characters they might be, and that's what I'm like. But no, all right. If they're for editors, absolutely, man.
Yeah, if we have a 5th season of this, we will have a 5th game of this.
Hey, Ryan's joining us. Yay.
There we go. Hey, Ryan.
Ryan, great job on the series. As always, knocking it out. Let's talk about the second issue. Let's talk about the first 2 issues as issue 2 comes out. It comes out the week of Christmas?
Yes, 23rd. Right? Yeah.
Okay, yeah, let's either next week, Ryan, or the following week. Let's get in the nitty-gritty, man. That would be awesome.
And he can say nice things about me for once.
You're doing this right. Absolutely, buddy.
That's right.
So, no, it'd be great. As always, Ryan, always great collaborator with Fred, but an incredible cartoonist on his own. So many great books. And I'm always happy. I'm again, we're at convention season. I would spend a minute with Ryan and Fred talking on the floor.
On the booth.
And that's great, Ryan. Okay, good deal. Expect an email or a tweet message from me to set up a talk within the next 2 weeks before episode 2 or issue 2 drops of the comic book history of animation. And I apologize on the crawl that Ryan's credit is not included on that just because of this conversation. I've got it, it's simple with Fred, but absolutely the man carrying the heavy load of drawing and giving us the fun art, Ryan Dunleavy, everybody.
He's all right. He's fine. He's fine. Number 8, round 1, Connect 4, blank, Johnny Cloud, Gunner, Sarge.
These are the losers.
These are the losers
from DC's military comics. Is it Captain Storm?
Yes, Captain Storm, Johnny Cloud, Gunner, and Sarge.
The only reason why Captain Storm is on my mind. Years ago, I bought a solo Captain Storm issue of Star Spangled War, whatever book whatever the character was in, and I couldn't identify the artist. And it was one of the last times I talked to Joe Kubert before he passed away. And man, what a mensch! Good Lord!
Oh yeah,
sweetest guy in the world, razor sharp till the end. Was in his 80s, and just not only a great artist and writer, but one of the literally stalwart editors of DC for decades.
Absolutely.
And an incredible cover artist, the whole schmear. And I'm like, Joe, who did this? And just like 5 seconds, he's like, oh, Irv Novick. And I'm like, yeah, Jesus, of course, Irv Novick. Thank you. My God. He's like, oh, yeah, Captain Storm. He's like, he's in the losers. And I'm like, yep. So
there you go.
Awesome.
Famously done by Jack Kirby. He took over the strip at one point, which is a rare
great
Jack
collection.
Kirby taking something over at DC.
Great hardcover collection of Kirby military comics during the 70s.
Yes.
And he put a lot of his own experiences in World War II when he was doing the losers. I highly recommend it.
Underrated DC book from Kirby. Okay.
Oh, Josh got it right.
Nice. Thank you, Josh. Number 9. Dr. No. From Russia with Love, blank, Thunderball.
These are the first 4 James Bond films.
They are.
And now that I do know your succession of Bond films. That would be the great Shirley Bassey singing Goldfinger.
That's right. And co-starring, this was totally accidental on my part, Honor Blackman, who played Kathy Gale in The Avengers. So accidental.
And Gert Frobe as Goldfinger, who didn't speak English, who had to sing his lines phonetically, and finally, because of his thick accent, they had to dub in a different voice. And, of course, the famous scene where Bond is strapped to the table and the laser beam coming to him. You expect me to talk? No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
Still great. It's still one of the possibly the greatest.
And I just want to point out that Langley and Josh got it correct. Ryan guessed The Spy Who Shagged Me. Close.
Different series.
That's right. Although it did happen in Goldfinger when you consider Honor Blackman.
That's right.
With the infamous name Pussy Galore.
Pussy Galore. Oh, Ian Fleming. Could you be any more homophobic? But that's okay. Number 10, and speaking of Mr. Fleming, Casino Royale, Live and Let Die, blank, Diamonds Are Forever.
The first 4 Bond novels.
Correct.
It's a guess, but I believe it's To Russia with Love. From Russia with Love.
I would have guessed that as well. This is a tough one because the novel and the movie have absolutely nothing to do with each other.
Then it must be Moonraker.
It is Moonraker, correct. I can't give you that, but
I understand.
Your second guess was correct. 8 and 2 on that one, John.
And I kind of figured it was From Russia with Love because, the first book I think was maybe it was earlier, but I assumed because Kennedy famously that was on his bestseller. Like, what am I reading? What's on my nightstand? And that's really was the American kind of like, oh my God, what is this thing that Kennedy's reading?
Yeah, Moonraker is this crazy novel about an ex-Nazi running Britain's rocket program, and half the book is Bond being tortured, and and the other half is about Baccarat. It's insane. It's not a good book by any stretch of the imagination.
I've never read.
It took them so long to adapt it.
I've never read the comic strip adaptation of Moonraker, if there was one, because
maybe I don't know.
Because I have so many of those Titan collections.
I've never read them. I'm a huge James Bond fan. I've never really read the comic strip.
They're incredible because also Casino Royale as a comic strip came out in 1958. So 4 years before Dr. No.
Right.
And really, John McCluskey, the artist's original designs for James Bond, I have to think that Saltzman and Broccoli, when they were casting, are like, we want him to look like this. And really, I mean, it's not dead on. And as the series progressed and they had hired Sean Connery, McCluskey leaned into that look, but not too far from Sean Connery's real look back in 1958. Which cool.
To answer one of your earlier rhetorical questions, I think that what happened was the most recent book by the time they made the movies was Dr. No, and that's why they did Dr. No's the first one, because that's the most recent book that had come out.
Okay.
So whenever Kennedy said that, he must have been talking either about Dr. No, right, or whatever book preceded. I think it was probably, I think You Only Live Twice is before.
Well, but I do know specifically it was From Russia with Love that Kennedy went nuts over.
Oh, it was really? Okay, fair enough.
Because again,
actually, okay. Then I think we're both right then, because I think From Russia with Love is the 5th book and Dr. No is the 6th. So
there you go. And also I've watched the great thing about the DVDs as we lose physical media there are incredible documentaries about the whole Bond phenomenon on every movie, narrated by Patrick McNee, which is even better. Cool. So John Steed narrates the James Bond story, and really for the Russia with Love movie, they make a big deal about how it was one of Kennedy's favorite books. Also, speaking of physical media, I'm all over this new, and I'm very interested to watch the new cut of Godfather 3, The Death of Michael Corleone.
I heard about this. Yeah, that seems kind of interesting. Godfather 3 is such a mess.
Yeah, and I like it. It's a good movie. It's not a great movie by any stretch, and certainly can't hold a candle to the original 2. But as far as it entertaining enough, and if you want to know where these characters wind up, I like it. enough.
If I remember correctly, I watched it not too long ago. If I remember correctly, the first hour and a half, you're like, I don't see why people criticize this movie so much. This isn't that bad. And then an hour, and then there's an hour of like, oh, right, that's why no one likes this movie.
Oh, yeah. No, and there's just weird stuff. I mean, they wouldn't pay Duvall, so they got George Hamilton to be the consigliere.
Right.
Which kind of works, I think, because as Michael Corleone's trying to go legit, he might have a smarmy, more junior executive rather than a wartime or even really mob kind of consigliere. But that said, and of course, Sophia Coppola, poor thing, great director.
Great director. I
has proven.
I have the heretical opinion. I think she's actually better than her dad. But yes, great director. Great director.
Yeah, and but obviously having to fill the shoes that were meant for Winona Ryder,
sure,
as
or an actress.
Yeah, well,
God bless her.
But as far as I'm not going to buy the Blu-ray unless it's really an incredible recut, because the only bonus feature is a 90-second Francis Ford Coppola explanation at the beginning of, I always wanted to call it Death of Michael Corleone. Paramount made me call it Godfather 3. Right. And it's like, that's it? Really? That sucks. I mean, my God, there's just always these great stories. There's stories about how Puzo wanted to make another movie and have Andy Garcia's character, essentially, as he does in 3, ascend to the next, power role and everything. I don't know.
Right.
Anyway, I've given more attention to Godfather 3 than I think it normally gets.
This is nerd trivia. You are... That's true. There's no edit unless you edit them out of the movie, I suppose. But
you're right, Dirty Harrington.
That would defeat it a little bit.
And poor Bridget Fonda, a small but great performance in 3, and we don't see her anymore because I guess she was in a horrible car accident that really screwed up her back.
Yikes.
And she just can't act anymore, and so that's why we haven't seen her in 20 years.
That's very sad. Well, if you've never seen Somewhere, which is my favorite Sophia Coppola movie, you guys should. It's with the villain in Blade. Because that guy's name Stephen Dorff. He's amazing. Stephen, I think it's
Stephen Dorff. Yeah,
isn't it Stephen Dorff?
Probably. And also, funny you should mention that, because in a very small role in that film is this Russian actor Alexander Nevsky, who's taken his character name from Russian history. It's like, yes, I'm Anthony. I'm
that's in Somewhere.
I'm Patrick Wayne, or not Patrick Wayne. What's his name? Give me liberty or give me death.
Patrick Henry.
Henry, exactly. How you doing? Russian national hero, but he's an action hero. But in this film, he plays a Russian journalist.
Okay,
in Somewhere, and great guy, and is really following in the footsteps of Schwarzenegger and Van Damme, and making these like straight to the gut action movies, and also peppering them with
in Russia.
Here, he lives here. He's been here for 20 years. He's made 7 movies in 15 years. He's a former Mr. Universe, and went out and sought out Arnold for advice. And Arnold's like, "Hey, while you're getting whatever roles you audition for, make your own movies." And he took that advice seriously, learned how to make movies. And they're great red box if you like great action movies, great low budget kind of movies.
Like, what's your favorite? Like, name your favorite.
Oh God, he did the one. What the hell is it called? There's 3 of them on Amazon Prime that you can watch. And one has like Manila in the title. And I can't remember the name of it right now, but like Tia Carrera and
the city of Manila in the Philippines.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes. But he has a new one that I talked to him about. That's when I first interviewed him. Red Prophecies, that is coming out early next year. 90% of it was shot in Russia. He finished it here. Casper Van Diem, Michael Madsen, Eric Roberts. I mean, it's like
all your favorites.
I was going to say, you had me at a low. Come on, man.
And extra Expendables.
And it's could not be sweeter. Great guy. I am sure the NSA is tapping my phones ever since I started these conversations with him. No, he's a good dude. He's a really good dude. So I am totally in his corner. And I'm like, anytime you want to come back, when Red Prophecies is available to stream or buy or whatever, you got to come back. And also Kari Anders, the great Marvel writer-editor.
Sure.
Or rather artist. He just released a movie in the Tom Berenger Sniper series.
Oh wow!
And
There
I
you
haven't
go.
watched it yet, but I watched the trailer. We talked all about him making the movie. Berenger's in the latest movie. Fantastic! It looks
That is
great.
cool.
It looks awesome. So forgive the tangent, but yeah. There
No,
you go.
don't we do this for the tangents?
Indeed. Oh, here, real fast because we're getting good questions. Henry asks, "Can you ask Fred if that golden bull head on the top shelf is from Sinbad I the Tiger?"
Yes, you're talking about this. It is not. This is a reference to that book you see to the left of it. That is from my Archer and Armstrong run. Those are masks worn by the villains, the Wall Street, the demon worshipping Wall Street guys known as the 1%. So that was from a fan. Fans made a video. They made a fan trailer of my Archer and Armstrong run, and that was one of the costume elements they gave me, which is
that's
cool.
awesome.
Sinbad I the Tiger, though, great movie.
Dirty Harrington coming through with the title of Alexander's movie, Showdown in Manila. And as he points out, he is correct. Directed by Mark Dacascos, however you say it. The former, not only a great movie actor and director of this genre of action films, but also the host of Iron Chef America, or the emperor of Iron Chef America. The Fine
Very
Food
nice.
Channel. All right,
Very
there you
nice.
go.
Very
and
nice.
Warren Drummond says, according to a few articles, it wasn't the accent that stopped Fonda's career. She started a family with Danny Elfman. Oh, okay, cool. Like kind of taking the Phoebe Cates routes of, hey, I'm married, down with this. I'm not doing it anymore. All right.
Good for her.
Thank you, Warren. Very nice.
So PBS did a great concert series he conducted a bunch of his film music recently. That was last
Danny Elfman. That's awesome.
Danny Elfman. Hopefully they'll re-air that during the holidays because they did a lot of obviously Nightmare Before Christmas songs but all sorts of stuff. It was really terrific. Cool. Round two of Word Balloon Trivia. This game is called Fred Wrote a Thing. John, I'm gonna be honest with you. It's too lazy to come up with another theme, but I'm doing this animation book, and so here's a bunch of random crap I discovered while writing this book. Just interesting factoids. This is very trivial trivia, but just sort of like, oh, that's interesting. And this, John, this is Fred Wrote a Thing, the 90s Toon editions. This is all about cartoons of the 1990s. I know a subject very near and dear to your own heart.
That's right.
So I think you'll be really excited about this. Ryan, you're not allowed to answer these questions because...
You can't help me? All right, fine.
They're in the script. Yeah, what the hell? If you help them out, right?
You're still watching, right?
That's all right. Number one, and Fred Wrote a Thing. In 1997, John, Princess Mononoke, the Miyazaki animated film, became the highest grossing film in Japanese box office history, surpassing what 1982 American film? Directed by Steven Spielberg. What was the
it's got to be so it wasn't an animated film, or it was an animated film.
No, it's a live action film.
That would be E.T. then.
That is correct. E.T. was for 15 years the box office champ of Japan until dethroned by Princess Mononoke. Princess Mononoke was dethroned in 2001 by Miyazaki's Spirited Away.
I was going to guess Spirited Away if it was related to Miyazaki, so yes.
And as of right now, it still is the box office champ of Japan. However, this movie, Demon Hunter Slayer something, is catching up to it rapidly. So perhaps in a month, that will no longer be true. Number two, that's Langley. That was correct. Excellent. Langley. Leaders coming through. Number two. Before asking Tom Hanks to play the lead role in Toy Story, Pixar gave him a digital audition by animating his character to dialogue tracks from this 1989 buddy cop movie. What Tom Hanks 89 cop movie did they animate his voice to Woody, the cowboy he plays?
It's got to be the infamous cop dog film Turner and Hooch.
That is correct. They animated him from sound clips from Turner and Hooch, which I so hope those still exist somewhere. Can be seen. It's amazing.
Hey, a question from Henry regarding the comic book history of animation. Does it refer to stuff like 1960s Spider-Man, Super Friends, 1960s Marvel stuff, or is it more recent stuff?
Henry, we started in 1896, so I can guarantee you that it's not more recent stuff. Yes, Ryan actually didn't technically know that. I don't think that's in the script. But yes, in issue 4, we do all the 60s superhero stuff. Ryan should be drawing that right now, but instead he's watching the show.
That's all right.
That's okay.
I look forward. The 60s, again, that's when the birth of Saturday morning cartoons.
Absolutely.
I believe either in 64 or 65 was the debut of Saturday morning cartoons.
Yes, they really took off mid-60s by a guy by the name of Fred Silverman, who's the head of daytime programming for the network whose T-shirt you wear. And was later, they clearly, recognized his genius because he went on to be president of CBS and greenlit All in the Family. And all right, Ryan, you're off the hook then. If you're drawing the comic and doing the show at the same time. He has to stop and type, though. That's
all right. Hey, man. It's all right, Ryan.
I'm kidding. Number 3, John, Brad Bird's 1999 film, The Iron Giant.
Yes.
Was based on a poem by this former husband to the bell jar's Sylvia Plath. John, what was the name of the poet who wrote The Iron Man? Married to Sylvia, famously married to in a great marriage that ended really well to Sylvia Plath. What was her husband's name who wrote the poem that The Iron Giant was based on?
All right, I know so few 20th century poets. I'm going to guess it's either. I'm going to guess Dylan Thomas.
Okay. Do any leaguers want to take a guess?
And
or is that your final answer?
And, well, the other one would be Ezra Pound, but he's not really a poet per se. Although he wrote, Wasteland or whatever he wrote.
That was T.S. Eliot. Ezra Pound.
T.S. Eliot.
Both those guys were earlier in the 20th century. This guy's name was Ted Hughes. He was actually a British poet, but he's most famous for.
I would be thrilled.
Being a really bad husband to Sylvia Plath.
I would be thrilled if there is a word balloon leaguer that knows that.
That's right.
Yeah, of course.
Sometimes I gotta whip. I know we're advertising this as nerd trivia. Sometimes I gotta whip the real knowledge on you.
God bless you, son. It's all good.
Okay, this is a long one, so bear with me. But it's one of my favorite questions. So, okay, number 4. In 1999, again, DreamWorks released Ants.
Yeah,
with a Z, as a way for studio head Jeffrey Katzenberg to get back at his former bosses Disney, who were about to release A Bug's Life. Ants stars Woody Allen and Sylvester Stallone.
I knew that.
As a pair of six-legged brothers.
Pretty funny.
But prior to Ants, Stallone and Allen had shared the screen together once before. In which of Allen's earlier movies as a director?
That would be Bananas.
That is correct. Sylvester Stallone menaces Woody Allen on a subway in Bananas. So they had appeared before. This was much earlier in Sylvester Stallone's.
Oh yeah, it was like
acting career.
3 or 4 years before Rocky.
That's right. This was like Italian Stallion era.
Lords of Flatbush kind of early bit role Stallone. And Bananas, I know that people are canceling Woody Allen. Bananas is a brilliant parody of
Love and Death is my favorite of those early comedies. Probably one of my favorite movies of all time.
I got screwed. So many times.
That's right. Wheat. Fields are great. I'm dead. They're talking about wheat. I love it.
That's right. Wheat.
Round 2 of Fred Wrote a Thing, 1990 Student Edition. Number 5. John. This current Democratic senator from Vermont and lifelong Bat fan voiced up. Josh got it. This current Democratic senator from Vermont and lifelong Bat fan voiced a governor in the Jonah Hex episode of Batman the Animated Series.
Wow. The governor of Vermont.
No, he played a governor in Batman the Animated Series. He is actually a Democratic senator from Vermont.
Oh. Bernie Sanders?
Bernie Sanders is one of the current one of the current senators from Vermont, but he is famously not a Democrat.
Hello, Bruce Wayne. That's true.
That's right. Do you know his colleague in the Senate? First elected in 1974. I was 2 years old.
And he's still in the Senate now? Or
he's still in the Senate right now.
Wow, he's one of those lifers.
We have term limits for president, but not senator. Figure that out.
Did he run for president at one point or no?
He did. No, not that I'm aware of.
All right, I don't know.
Bernie Sanders' colleague in the Democrat Senate from Vermont, his name is Patrick Leahy.
Oh yes, of course. I've certainly seen him enough, but I forget what state he's from.
Yeah.
So, because I was going to say, all right, I'd like Bruce Wayne to join me in the fight.
Right. That's right. But he was rescued by Jonah Hex from being assassinated by Ra's al Ghul in
David Gelly is right. Over the Top is
good stuff.
If the genre of arm wrestling films is your favorite genre, I would agree. And also, I used to when I worked in adult contemporary radio, we used to have to play the theme song from Over the Top, Kenny Loggins' "Meet Me Halfway," which I always referred to as the love theme from Over the Top. Oh my God. And yes, Bananas with the pastries. Absolutely. Good Lord. My favorite scene in Bananas is when he wants to buy Screw magazine, but every time he tries to buy it, a woman is looking at him. So he keeps buying
get commentary.
I got US News and World Report. I got Time. Hey, Charlie, how much is Screw magazine?
How much for jugs?
Screw. Good stuff. You're killing me, man.
Hey,
Langley says he's in Dark Knight.
Oh, is he? Is Lee in Dark Knight? I'm making a note of that.
That's amazing.
Thank you for that. I'm learning factoids. I love it.
Good stuff, man.
Hey, and speaking of Batman the Animated Series, number 6. Speaking of Batman the Animated Series, John, Mark Hamill replaced what Hunt for Red October actor as the Joker after the creators felt his performance lacked the character's chaotic mood swings and sadistic playfulness. John, who did Mark Hamill replace as the Joker in Batman the Animated Series?
Oh, God, and it's a Hunt for Red October actor. Oh, it was, I'm going to guess Tim Curry.
It was Tim Curry, correct. Tim Curry got canned. In fact, Mark Hamill plays a scumbag in just a generic business scumbag in Heart of Ice, the Mr. Freeze episode.
Michael and Sarah.
And while he was in the taping, he was like, this was fun, but can I do a bigger villain? And lo and behold.
Absolutely. Ryan got it right. Warren got it right. I almost said Sam Neill. Because I love Sam Neill. Big fan.
And if you don't mind plugging my in speaking of Batman Animated Series and this sort of context, Ryan and I are running a poll / sort of Sweet 16 bracket of the greatest Batman the Animated Series episode. Vote at 13thdimension.com.
Oh, great.
That'll be running all month. We're on bracket 4, I think.
Oh my God. What is my favorite episode of the animated series? Do you go into the Batman and Robin years and, the years with Batgirl and Tim Drake and all that stuff?
No, that's the new animated
Batman.
And they stink like poop. So we
ignore
them. There's also 85 episodes in the original series, so there's plenty to work with there.
Sure. There is the one episode of the newer stuff that I love where Barbara Gordon dies like it's a dream and everything goes to hell in Gotham, and you just like kind of know how important she is to like kind of keep the Bat family
the only one that made any impression on me was Billy Zane playing the demon.
Well, yeah, and as it got into kind of that Brave and Bold territory, yeah, that was a good one. Sure. Yeah. Billy Zane, that's hilarious. So
number 7. Toymaker giant Mattel, John, refused to allow Barbie or any of its big name toys to appear in Pixar's feature debut Toy Story, except for exactly one. What is the only big brand name toy with a major speaking role in Toy Story?
Do they make Mr. Potato Head, Mattel?
Yes, Mr. Potato Head is correct.
I didn't realize that Mattel made Mr. Potato Head. I thought it was like, one of those other like lesser toy companies. Speaking of which, coming back to Word Balloon very soon, the great Brian Volk-Weiss, creator of the Toys That Made Us on Netflix.
Oh, very nice. Great show.
And the Movies That Made Us, and currently on Netflix, Brian Volk-Weiss production, The Holiday Movies That Made Us.
Oh, very cool.
And further, he has a television show on Amazon Prime called A Toy Story Near You that he started during COVID. And it literally is about the mom and pop shops, the toy store owners, and how they're dealing with the crisis, and while featuring amazing toys. And it's this really great reality show about how small businesses are dealing with COVID. But thank God, as opposed to, a boring, shoe repair, or no disrespect to shoe repairs or whatever, that he focuses on.
I'm going to send you a very strongly worded email, John, after that.
My cousin actually in shoe repair, but that's how, he chose toy store owners all over the world, and it's a great series, and that's one of the things we're talking about. We're recording next week, and likely the episode will be out. I'm just looking at the trying to see the time frame.
Edge.
Yeah, I think it'll probably be out on Friday, video and audio, a week from this Friday.
Cool.
So look for that. Look for that in the days ahead on Word Balloon, the Toys That Made Us by
He
Brian Bookworth.
didn't do the video game series on Netflix because I'm enjoying that quite a bit. I cannot remember the name of it off the top.
Yeah, I don't think so. And I know what you're talking about. And I kept meaning to look at the credits. He also does. He's in charge of the company Comedy Dynamics that produce 90% of the stand-up you see on streaming and stuff. And he made an incredible documentary about the career and life of Bill Hicks, the early 90s comedian that died young. And also he was telling me he cut a deal with Bill's estate, which is run by Bill's brother and mother, and expect kind of in a Tupac way, a lot of unreleased Bill Hicks video and audio.
Holograms.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know if they're going to go the full hologram. But it really is amazing because Bill Hicks's comedy really plays today in a very apolitical
Charlie Hodge, ladies and gentlemen. Bring my scarves and my water. It's Charlie Hodge, everybody. Sorry, Chris and I did that bit for like 2 months after I showed it to her.
Or you would do like, go to sleep, America. Your government doesn't want you to know what it's doing. And truly would pick on Democrats and Republicans. Yeah. Great, very funny Texas comedian. Got to see him live. I feel very privileged, kind of like seeing Lenny Bruce. You know what I mean? Because he's that kind of bad boy comic in my view.
So much better than Lenny Bruce, though. I'd say, but that's just my
certainly, yeah. I mean, I always heard it because based on what film and albums survive Lenny Bruce, his real cutting edge shit was never really recorded. His stage shit was really
left it all out on stage.
Yeah.
Lastly, but not leastly, number 8 in round 2, Fred Wrote a Thing, 1990s Tune Edition. John, Toy Story director John Lasseter worked his way through college in part working at Disneyland, where he was a tour guide on this venerable ride that is about to have a live-action adaptation starring The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. John, what ride at Disneyland did John Lasseter work as a tour guide to work his way through college?
I forget what movie The Rock is working on right now.
Soon to be brought to life by The Rock.
Yeah. By the way, Brian Volk-Weiss making a behind-the-scenes Disney show about all the great rides with The Rock co-producing and hosting.
Oh, there you go.
And The Rock approached him.
Oh, there you go.
So, is it Haunted Mansion? Is it? Did they already do a Haunted Mansion?
They did with Eddie Murphy.
All right. So yes. So no, it's not Haunted Mansion.
Leaguers have a guess.
Okay. There we go. Maybe Ryan is correct. Jungle Cruise? Jungle
Cruise is correct. A little weird that my co-collaborator is getting all these right, but nevertheless, it is in fact correct.
Warren also gets part of it, says Cruise Flick.
That's right.
Very good. Again, thank you, boys.
Very nice. Well done.
Emma Blunt.
Yes, and Emma Blunt is with Emma Blunt. Yes.
With Emma Blunt. Yes, of course.
Trying to remember the name. Not necessarily the person you would think to co-star in a film with The Rock.
Emma or Emily Blunt? I believe Emily Blunt, right?
Yes, I guess it is Emily Blunt.
Okay, yeah, because I'm a big Emily Blunt fan, actually.
Not to be confused with Irma Bunt, the venerable James Bond villain.
Wasn't Emily Blunt in Charlie Wilson's War at the beginning?
I think so. I've never seen that.
Daughter of some politico that's trying to get Charlie to do something, and then at the end, turns out she's all sexified and everything, and having a little tete-a-tete with Tom Hanks. I think that's Emily.
Now, if only they'd animated Toy Story from that.
Was she in 5-year whatever arrangement with Jason's Engagement? Yeah, wasn't that Emily Blunt? Yeah, then it's her. Yeah, absolutely. She's hilarious in that movie. Although, and I agree, Bendis and I always talk about that movie, and really Chris Pratt and Alison Brie kind of steal the movie from Jason Segel and Emily Blunt.
I've never seen that one.
It's a really funny relationship movie, decent for a date night and stuff. And it's good comedy in there. A lot of good comedy in there.
Nice. Well, that brings us to round 3, which traditionally Word Balloon Trivia is always the picture round. And so I've got a picture round for you here tonight, John. Let me do the old screen sharing here.
Indeed, I will bring it up as soon as you share.
Sounds good.
There it is. But
so keep in mind now, I can only see my keynote presentation here. I can no longer see you, John, or the chat. So
that's all right.
FYI. So this is I Never Forget a Voice. John is the name this game.
Yes.
And so here's how this works, John. I'm going to show you the two photos of two different celebrities. And one of these celebrities has played a role, has voiced it on a cartoon.
Okay.
And the second celebrity has portrayed that person in live action.
Oh, okay.
So the question I have for you is, what is the role both of these people have played?
Understood. Is that Agnes Moorehead, by the way, doing a classic moment from Suspense?
It might be. Once again, your friends at CBS.
Hey, exactly. How about that, man? There's some good synergy. Fred and I on the same wavelength. I'm like, I'm going to wear the CBS t-shirt tonight. There you go, man. Yeah, I worked at different times, worked for CBS 10 years the first route, 4 years the second route.
Yeah, it did not occur to me, but that really does look like Agnes Moorehead. Maybe it is. I'm not sure. I got this randomly off the internet, so I don't know.
Oh God, was it? I want to say yes. Sorry, Wrong Number. The great Barbara Stanwyck thriller, where she's an invalid and knows someone is coming to murder her at her house, and she can't get out of bed. And Agnes Moorehead would come back because they didn't have pre-recorded reruns back then, but she would it was a favorite. And they would redo it years, afterwards and stuff. So my buddy,
the character she played in Twilight Zone, right, where she's being menaced by the little spacemen,
the invaders. Yes, indeed.
So once again, I'm going to show you the photos of two celebrities, two actors. I think they're all actors. I don't know why we're specifying celebrities. And one of them has played a particular part in voice. The other person has played that same part in live action. You need to tell me the name of the character.
Fair enough.
The role. So here we have.
Wow, look at Adrienne Barbeau, everybody. There's a reason why we watched Maude, and it wasn't for B. Arthur. It was Adrienne Barbeau.
That's right. And then the second person, of course, that we're looking at,
Halle Berry.
Halle Berry, and what part do they both play?
If I'm right, I know on the right she played her, but I believe Adrienne Barbeau in the animated series did Catwoman.
That is correct. They both have played Catwoman.
Yep.
Adrienne Barbeau, of course, played Selena Kyle on the Batman the Animated Series, and Halle Berry played her in a movie I and no one else on planet Earth has seen.
I've never seen it either. I've never
Definitely
seen
a big miscalculation there.
And also, by the way, here, Henry has a comment. I was very young when I first saw the 1960s Marvel cartoons. Years later, I discovered that I was looking at Kirby, Ditko, Colin stuff right out of the comics. Indeed.
You were. That's right.
Mike, the good inker. Mike Royer. Mike Royer did a lot of additional art in the Marvel superheroes cartoons to kind of connect the panels and stuff and give them a little more continuity. So, yes, you are correct. That is absolutely right. And Langley also correctly guessed Catwoman.
Cat the Woman. Number 2. This one's slightly harder.
I don't know who that is on the left.
So on the left, that gentleman's name is Bill McKinney. And if you're asking me, Fred, is that the squeal like a pig guy from Deliverance? Why, yes, John, it is.
And of course, Josh Brolin is Thanos.
That's right.
I'm going to guess Jonah Hex.
You are correct. They have both played Jonah Hex. Bill McKinney played Jonah Hex on the oft-mentioned Batman the Animated Series, where he co-starred with Patrick Lee, a senator from Vermont. And Josh Brolin played him in the famously terrible movie that also no one has ever seen.
That one I sadly saw. Because I loved, and I should mention, not to name drop, but tomorrow afternoon on Award Balloon Live, I'll be talking to Jimmy Palmiotti about his Pop Kill comic that he's doing with Dave Johnson. But of course, Jimmy and Justin Gray and a myriad of amazing celebrity guest artists with an over 50 issue run on Jonah Hex.
Absolutely.
That was as, dare I say, as good as Bronze Age Jonah Hex stories.
They're all good. He's just one of probably the greatest of all comic book original Western heroes. I would
couldn't agree more, man.
Here's our set number 3.
Yes, hello. Meanwhile, so we got Ted Knight, and then who's on the right?
That gentleman's name is Yahya Abdul Mateen II. Or I think, am I pronouncing that right? Probably not. Yahya?
Who can forget when I'm kidding about this, played Black Lightning on the comics or the cartoons. Oh wow! All right, I believe the word balloon listeners have come through, and specifically storyboard Hollywood artist Warren Drummond with Black Manta.
Black Manta. Ted Knight was not just the announcer and narrator on the Filmation Aquaman cartoon. He was also the voice of Black Manta, who was the villain in the very first episode. And here's another fun bit of trivia. Mr. Abdul Mateen, of course, played Black Manta in the Aquaman movie. However, that suit in this shot is from him winning an Emmy for playing a completely different DC Comics character. That, of course, being Dr. Manhattan in HBO's Watchmen.
Oh man, I didn't even recognize him.
Oh, because he's not blue.
Not blue, and he's also not. He's got the beard and he's got hair. So man, he was a great Dr. Manhattan. He was amazing. Absolutely,
he was a great Black Manta, I thought.
And I was going to say, the Nick Cardy cover that iconic Nick Cardy cover that you got the image of and everything. And I don't want this misconstrued. I bought a copy of the issue and framed it because, man, and that is like my one passion as far as seeking out old issues on eBay is Nick Cardy covers with the specific purpose of framing them because they're so distinct. And that period, I mean, his Titan covers, his Aquaman covers,
particularly Aquaman.
Yeah, I mean, look at the graphic, the logo and stuff like that. I mean, just amazing. And it was that period of formatically the way they had those Silver Age covers, the trade dress, even or the issue dress that they showed. That was just a very distinct moment. And 9 times out of 10, they were Nick Cardy covers. So I love that stuff.
Yeah, and it's a shame because Cardy had left the book, the interiors at this point, when he was really the last couple issues that he drew the interiors of. He did some pretty amazing covers, but a lot of these covers, unfortunately, were from a still learning Jim Aparo.
Yes,
possibly my top one. I'd say absolutely top 3 of my all-time favorite comic covers. But he was still very much learning when he was doing the early Aquaman stuff.
I'm with you.
Number 4.
All right, this one I know. I forget the actor's name, but that's Bull from Night Court, of course.
That's right. Richard Mole is the actor's name.
Richard Mole, yes, indeed. And of course, hey, how you doing? I'm Billy D.
That's right.
And that would be Harvey Dent.
That is correct. Richard Mole played Harvey Dent. All of these questions do not involve the Batman the Animated Series. I want to point that out. But they are great. It is sort of the 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon of voices.
No question.
Various cartoons.
Oh.
Not bad. Better than your Sean Connery, perhaps.
All right. So, I know this. Okay, I had to think for a second, but of course, they both were the genies in Aladdin.
And for the benefit of people who can only hear this, who are we looking at?
Yes, Robin Williams and Will Smith, of course.
That's right. They both played the genie from Aladdin. Number 6.
Had to mute myself for a second as I coughed.
No worries.
Hey, I'm Casey Kasem. How are you? It's American Top 40. On with the countdown. Love that guy. My God. All right, here's Michael Martin Murphy's Wildfire from the 70s. I mean, it's easy to do. The infamous bit where he got all angry because he had to do the death dedication to the dog, Snuggles. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there is a YouTube of Casey Kasem pre-recording American Top 40. Dear Casey, our family just lost a dog named Snuggles. And he just, midway through it is like, because he screws up the take, he's like, can you get Don on the line? The producer's like, I want a goddamn effort. I don't want to go into a death dedication to a dog into a song. It's great stuff.
So he just thought it was bad radio, or it depressed him, or?
Yeah, I don't know. It was just a bad moment. Unbelievable, as if I may take a moment to talk about Casey Kasem. Great voice actor, not only in cartoons, but going back to the tail end of old time radio in the 50s, was a very active actor in a lot of radio Lone Ranger shows and things like that, where he would just play
I did not know that.
innocuous characters. Oh yeah, Casey Kasem was really, really, really cool, and really was our god of the top 40 list in the 70s through the 80s into even the 90s. So that's Casey Kasem, and I've Matt Lizard.
Yes, Lillard.
Lillard, excuse me.
His last name. Just real quick, I remember, when I was a kid in the 80s, when I would sit and listen to Casey Kasem show, because there was a song I really liked, but it only heard on the radio, and I wanted to tape it.
Sure.
And you'd have to sit there like an idiot waiting for it to come on, then run across the room, at least I did. That was that was the best resource for the top 40, because you knew the song was coming eventually. And as long as you started, listening it was like a 3-hour show every Sunday or whatever.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Wall to wall. And depending on the market, either Saturday or Sunday mornings. And climbing up the charts, here's Kim Carnes with Betty Davis.
Exactly. So can you deliver in your finest Casey Kasem what the answer to this particular
Absolutely.
puzzle?
It is not Robin the Boy Wonder, because Matthew Lillard never played him. It was Shaggy, everybody. Of course,
it was Shaggy.
No, I hope you didn't take my Robin, because I said it was not Robin.
It
was not Robin. It was definitely Shaggy.
Sorry,
I'm sorry. That's why I took the moment to kind of
itchy slide trigger finger there. My apologies.
But everybody else, of course, knew right away because of the live action Scooby movies that it was Shaggy.
That's right.
Zoinks! Hey, Scoob! Oh, all right. I do know this one, and truly on the animation side, David Warner and Liam Neeson.
That's right.
And David Warner is, and I've said this to so many people involved with the Batman animated series, that his Ra's al Ghul was exceptional. Hello, detective.
Yes, it was.
Perfect voice. Perfect. Carried the character so well.
Great actor. Great in a lot of great villain parts.
Everything.
My favorite was Time After Time, where he was Jack the Ripper.
Jack the Ripper, absolutely. Yes, and indeed.
He's evil in
Titanic.
Time Bandits.
Time Bandits, Titanic. God, just, so great Western with Jason Robards. I can't even remember the name of it now. It's Stella Stevens. I can't remember the name of it, but really young David Warner, amazing in that. No, my God. And the guy just keeps delivering. Even in Star Trek V, Final Frontier.
Okay.
Great fight. And Star Trek VI, the Klingon one, the last original series movie, the Undiscovered Country. Yeah, and he's the Klingon Chancellor that dies.
Very nice.
Good stuff.
Last but not least.
Yay! Again, both of these women. I love both of them dearly. That's China Beach's own Dana Delaney on the left.
That it is.
And of course, the fantastically wonderful that kills it every time she's on screen, Amy Adams, currently on the Netflix movie with Meryl Streep, and I can't remember the name of it.
Glenn Close.
What's it called?
Glenn Close. Hillbilly Elegy.
Meryl Streep, yes, it's Glenn Close. That's right. What's it called? Hillbilly
Elegy.
Hillbilly Elegy, indeed. So they both are exceptional Lois Lanes.
Boom. That's right.
Yeah, they are.
It's the Dana Delaney version.
Yes, and of course, everybody got Ra's al Ghul, and David Warner also played Bob Cratchit. I didn't know that. Thank you, Warren. And Langley got. Well, all right. I disagree with you, Warren. I think Amy Adams was a fine Lois Lane.
She was good. The movies she was in were not that great. That's not really her fault.
Exactly. That's what I would say is the flaws in those movies are certainly not her fault.
That's right. So an excellent and unsurprising, given your background, John, 8 out of 8.
That's cool. How many have I missed so far?
Huh?
I think I've missed 2.
You've missed 4.
Oh, 4? All right.
You've missed 4 out of 24.
That's all right.
That's an excellent clip. Very well done. And the Leaguers, as always, invaluable resource.
They have my back. Thank you very much.
Invaluable resource. And so, John, we've come to the fourth and final round. And as always on Word Balloon Nerd Trivia, this is the mystery round. I'm going to ask you 9 essentially unrelated questions, all on a common theme. Yeah. And of course, the 10th question is always, what is the theme?
Yes.
And some of these questions are maybe harder than some of the earlier ones. However, I've tried to take the harder ones and put them later in the quiz. So if you figured out the theme, hopefully then they become slightly easier.
Fair enough. Okay, Air Warren, real fast, a comment about, he explains his comment. She was as good, not quite. She was good as a not quite Lois. Very good actress, though, and does like comedy well. That's right. I will respectfully disagree with you, Warren. I think she did a fine Lois, but there you go. Again, the flaws are not her fault.
Hey, we're adults. We can differ.
Oh, yeah.
Still be pals.
Absolutely.
So round 4 is the mystery round. Question 1. John, this Venerable plastic model company was founded in 1950 right here in Brooklyn, New York, where I'm currently sitting, and was known primarily for its aircraft models until landing the Universal Monster license in 1961. Collectors now prize its kits like Giant Frankenstein, Dracula's Dragster, and my personal favorite, Godzilla's Go-Kart. All
good.
Produced by whom?
That would be Aurora.
That is Aurora is the name, or the Aurora Plastics Company is the name.
Yes. Massive fan. God, and also not only the statues that you could get of various comic book and comic strip related characters, but the mini comics that were included.
Oh, is that right?
Oh, yeah, man. Like I remember not only a Superman statue, but a Superboy statue, great Batman. I remember a great Lone Ranger statue. And then, of course, like you said, the Universal Monsters that glowed in the dark.
That I remember.
Good stuff.
Number two, mystery round. What's the theme? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm writing everything down.
I do know, but trying to jump suspense here. Number two, this Marvel anthology series featuring Peter Parker's supporting cast and enemies ran from June 2001 to March 2003. The first arc was by the Hitman team of Garth Ennis and John McCrae. What Peter Parker anthology series ran from June 2001 to March 2003?
Is that Tangled Web?
That is correct. The name of that comic, the full title was Spider-Man's Tangled Web. But yes, that is correct.
Big fan.
Number three.
Go on.
According to an Alan Moore and Bill Willingham short story, the Green Lanterns of the space sector known as the Obsidian Deeps, where there is no color or light, use what device instead of a ring to wield their power? John, what did the Green Lanterns of the Obsidian Deeps use to control their power?
That was a bell.
That is correct. They would ring a bell rather than point a ring. They're out there in the Obsidian Deeps. Very dark there.
Josh got Tangled Web. Congratulations, Josh. Very nice.
Very nice.
You'll forgive me, Josh. I'm pen in hand.
He's crushing this one.
So I'm trying to write everything down to see what connects here. So we got Aurora, Tangled Web, and Bell.
And a bell. Number four. This Native American lawman patrolled the planet New Texas astride his Techno Horse 3030.
Native American. All right. New Texas.
Cartoon.
Oh, it was a cartoon?
Mm-hmm. From Filmation.
Oh, I do know. That's is it Black Star?
Very close. Black Star was a astronaut catapulted into a fantasy world. This is a future person working as a lawman. His name was Brave Star.
Brave Star.
Very close, but no, I was looking for Brave Star. I think it's from I'm pretty sure he was John Brave Star, but don't quote me. Number five, mystery round. What's the mystery?
I like this.
Kitty Pryde, God bless Kitty Pryde.
Yeah.
Character I enjoyed writing, has gone through a number of superhero names, many superhero names in her life as a character until they finally gave up and just gave her the Henry Pym treatment. Screw it, she's Kitty Pryde. Right. But what was Kitty Pryde's code name in the iconic graphic novel God Loves, Man Kills?
I'm guessing Shadowcat, but I don't know.
Is that your final answer?
It is my final answer. I don't remember any other Kitty Pryde names, I got to be honest.
She was known as Shadowcat at one point. She was known as Sprite at one point, but in God Loves, Man Kills, she went by the brief but semi-used code name of Ariel.
Oh, okay.
Kitty was known as Ariel in that very brief era of X-Men comics.
I'm sensing a connection already, but go ahead.
Fair enough. Keep it to yourself. Don't let the leaguers mull it over.
Indeed.
Number six, this 1988 miniseries from Gary Conway, a past guest of yours, and Jose Garcia Lopez, one of the nicest people in comics, was about a private eye team comprised of a Vietnam War vet and his half African-American, half Vietnamese partner. And it was one of DC's first suggested for mature readers titles. Conway and Garcia Lopez, of course, had previously worked on DC's Artari Force together. But this was I don't know if this is a creator-owned book, but this was a 1988 crime series set in New Orleans.
Oh, shit. Because I thought it was Atari Force until you just said that. Having not read, I'll be honest, Atari Force.
It's about Atari characters.
Jerry Conway and Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. Mid-80s.
88.
I have to confess, I don't know.
Cinder and Ash was the name of
Oh,
that.
sure. I do remember that title, and I have to confess, never read it, but always meant to.
Cinder and Ash.
Cinder and Ash. Very good. With an E at the end of Ash, I believe. Like
That is
Arthur.
correct. That is correct. Number 7.
And Alex Chung got Cinder and Ash. Very good, Alex. Well done.
Oh, very good. Number 7, John, the field team of the planetary organization is comprised of Chiquita Wagner, the drummer, and whom?
Oh yeah, Jesus. I love that series. John Cassidy, Warren Ellis. Shit. The drummer, yeah. Chiquita. God. Anybody? All right. Anybody on the league before we answer? If you remember the third member of Planetary after Chiquita and the drummer, because now all I can think of her
the
like
main character.
Yeah, and I know. Shame on me. The main character. Oh yeah, that's right. There we go. Joshua Wade, I believe, is correct with Elijah Snow.
Elijah Snow is correct. Well done, Joshua. That is correct.
You know, I loved all the ciphers of famous other characters, like the Doc Savage character that had withered legs and was kind of a perfect man, and the Fantastic Four pastiche and everything.
Right.
So Elijah Snow.
Bad guys.
Yep.
Number 8. On this and one more question, then we have to guess the theme. Number 8. James Cullen and his sister Jasmine have both served in the Legion of Superheroes under what name? Code name or whatever. Superhero.
Are they the Tornado Twins?
They are not.
That was just all right. Anybody on the league know that? And it's shame on me because I love the Legion, but I don't remember these characters. Were they a descendant of another legacy? Like, were they legacy heroes?
So. I myself am not a big Legion guy, but I don't think so.
Okay. So they both played. So maybe it's
the same code name.
Yeah. So let me see. Who is this? Is the woman character a new Bendis version of the character, or was it back in the? No. Okay. Gee, I have to say I don't know, and I don't know anybody in the league.
Kid Quantum was their
Kid Quantum. Okay, sure.
Kid Quantum.
Yeah, I remember the name. Anybody? No, it's not Lightning Lad and Lass, but a good guess, Henry. Kid Quantum. And Isham Zubi guessed Computo, but no.
Kid Quantum was what we were looking for.
Fair enough.
John, the Temple of the Frog was the first ever published adventure for what venerable tabletop role-playing game?
The Temple of the Frog. I'm assuming Dungeons and Dragons.
That is correct. Temple of the Frog.
D&D.
It's part of the Blackmore supplement. That's pretty good. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 so far right. To get a winning record, you'll have to guess the theme. But let's throw it to the leaguers first. Leaguers, do you know what the theme...
the connective tissue of these things.
Connective tissue of all these questions and answers are?
So we got Aurora, Tangled Web, Belle, Brave Star, Ariel, Cinder and Ash, Elijah Snow, Kid Quantum, and Dungeons and Dragons. Well, I assumed it was a Disney theme of some sort.
Okay.
With Aurora and Belle and Ariel.
Right. Aurora, of course, is Sleeping Beauty. Right. That's the titular. Tangled is a Disney cartoon.
Oh, of course, yeah. So, yeah, they're Disney princesses.
Yes,
yeah.
Disney princesses are correct. Yeah. Belle, of course, is the main character of Beauty and the Beast. Brave Star is a Pixar movie, but Mierda, or whatever her name is considered still to be a Disney princess. Ariel, of course, is the Little Mermaid. Cinderella, Snow White.
Oh, sure, Cinder for Cinderella. And Snow White. So which is Kid Quantum?
James Cullen and his sister Jasmine. Jasmine was the princess in Aladdin.
Oh, so it wasn't the character, it was Jasmine. I'm with you now.
And
Dungeons and Dragons?
And Temple of the Frog, Princess and the Frog is okay. Tiana is another Disney princess movie. So not very always good. The answer, usually the answer, but
Alex Chung also getting that correct. Well done, sir.
No, well done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There you go. Wait, am I random? Yeah, 6 to 5, 6 to 4.
Okay.
So your total winnings, such as they are.
Yeah, out of how many questions?
It's a nice even. So it's 38 questions, and you got a 30 and an 8. Well done, sir.
I got 30 out of 38.
30 out of 38. So that's
all right.
You passed. Congratulations.
Yeah, exactly. All right, I did okay.
You are an official nerd.
I can live with that. I thought for sure there'd be more than one X-Men question, and I knew I wouldn't get it right. So,
I'm just not a big X-Men person.
Neither am I, man. I actually interviewed Chris Claremont a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
and it went okay because literally it's like, Chris, how are you? Well, let me tell you about Kitty Pryde. I'm like, go.
Yeah. I've interviewed Chris before, and that's how that went also.
But it was fine. Hey, speaking of Marvel, last time we talked, and Crystal was on the show as well, you guys had released or began to release King Kirby, your wonderful stage production that you turned into an audio performance.
That's right.
And it sounds like it's been going well.
It has. In fact, we're leveling up to a certain degree. We've got picked up by the Broadway Podcast Network. We've redone the show again, but this time with original music by our pal and Crystal's freaking collaborator Bobby Cronin, new sound edits, and great underscoring, and that'll be coming out. I'm gonna say late January would be my guess of when that's coming out.
So have you taken it off your original platform in the meantime?
We have.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyone who subscribed and is like, "Where's the 4th episode?" Fear not, it's coming.
Okay.
But in a different locale.
But look for it on Broadway
Broadcast Network. Yeah.
The Broadway Broadcast Network.
But it'll be on iTunes and Spotify and all that fun stuff.
Oh, sure. But and I'm assuming also they have other plays that they've adapted as audio productions.
Exactly. And they've got a lot of sort of, talking, shows like this, talking talk shows.
Cool. That's great, man.
Theater and stuff. Yeah.
Dude, it's so funny. A friend of mine, we were talking podcasting, and he's a broadcast friend. Mm-hmm. And he's like, so like podcasting is really working. I'm like, dude, the major media companies are investing in audio drama.
Oh, yeah.
And comedy. I mean, obviously the Great Sandman adaptation that is on Audible speaks for itself. But man, even on just driving around, and I guess was it during COVID times? Maybe it was pre-COVID. Maybe it was last summer. Listening to public radio in the afternoon, and they played this incredible hour-long drama that was a naval inquiry about a port that had an explosion, and was it a terrorist attack or was it just an accident? And it was so good. And man, just the music and the acting and the sound effects, it was just incredible. So, and again, as evidenced by your photo of Agnes Moorehead in front of the CBS microphone, I'm an old time radio drama freak. I love it. William Conrad Cannon, the fat detective that we all remember from the 70s. I always say he was the Spencer Tracy of radio.
Yeah.
Because that voice was so resonant and you couldn't help but pay attention to him. And whether he was playing a villain or a side character or a lead character, you were enthralled by his audio performances. And radio, much like Orson Welles always said, my best medium was radio, which I find fascinating that he would say that as the ambitious filmmaker that he was. So what were you going to say about audio drama?
No, it's a really rewarding. I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying talking to composers and actors, and frankly, I know so many actors are out of work, right? Because of COVID shut all the theaters down, and it's a great way to get people, flexing those muscles and getting their names and their work out there.
Absolutely,
and I definitely think it's something that's going to continue once God willing, the pandemic ends.
Here, sir. Well, and that's the other thing. I do think when things get back to normal, I'm really hoping a lot of these online initiatives continue. And much like cable went alongside broadcast and streaming has gone alongside cable and broadcast, that it's now just another option and that it is another platform for great entertainment. Yeah. So again, I mean, as every evidence on what I've been doing for the last few months, I'm trying to take this terrible time as an opportunity, not in a crass sense, but really as an opportunity to kind of do more creative stuff, like our fine trivia contest that we manage to do every month, my man.
Indeed.
So, lots of fun. Dude, as always, you come to play when you give these great, really interesting categories and interesting questions. And thank God,
I'm glad you are a receptacle for my nonsense, John.
Dude. Well, and also, honestly, it's a chance for me to stretch my trivia muscles. And like all that time that my father thought, will you go outside? Stop watching TV.
Take that, Dad.
Dad, it's so good. And now it's all happening. So there you go, man. That's right. And I mean, it usually does inform my conversations with various creative people, and I'm able to, talk about an Agnes Moorehead while we're in the midst of.
That's right. Now the squeal like a pig guy from Deliverance played Jonah Hex.
Louder.
Right.
Good stuff, man.
You got a pretty mouth, boy.
Good stuff. I'm sure Ned Beatty still wakes up screaming if he's still alive.
He found that episode really disturbing, and he can't quite put his finger on why. The Jonah Hex one.
Jesus, I no, man, and really excited about what's happening in animation moving forward, and even I know is Crystal involved with any animation pitches? Are you involved with any animation pitches?
We like everybody else are in talks, but nothing concrete.
Okay.
Mention now she is writing a brand new audio drama that we're all very excited about.
Fantastic,
especially based on one of her plays called Open.
That's great.
That's very cool. So we're hitting it on multiple cylinders with the.
If she should adapt the play that I was in about the grunge band.
Yeah, that is a great point. That is a great idea. Another Kind of Love. Yeah, that opened in Chicago.
What was it called again?
It was called Another Kind of Love.
Another Kind of Love. Absolutely, man. No, dude, I'm telling you, one of my absolute favorite little moments of side projects where it's like, yeah, that's cool. I'm in a stage play.
John played a DJ in one of my wife's plays, which is
it was
highlight of both their lives.
Truly, man. Truly. And seriously, I really did feel bad that Crystal and I got on that theater jag when she was on with you last time. And I'm just like, good. Okay, great.
It was fine. I if I had weird reactions, I was doing it purely for comedic value, I promise. Not genuine.
No, and I fixed my microphone since, so that's good too, man. I got a new microphone, so everything's good right now.
I know I leveled up. I've got a pop filter and everything.
So again, Comic Book History of Animation on sale now. Yes. Issue 1 already on the stands.
Yes.
And December 23rd is issue 2.
Issue 2. And go to 13dimension.com and participate in me and Ryan's attempt to scientifically determine the best episode of Batman the Animated Series, a series of opposed head-to-head matchups between episodes he and I have chosen.
That's very cool. Now, I know you're a Star Trek fan. If I may promote also talking to Jimmy Palmiotti tomorrow during the afternoon on Word Balloon Live. And then also I'm doing my review of the next episode of Star Trek Discovery. Good Lord, we've still got 5 more to get through. That's the subtitle of the show.
Like 5 stars. 5 stars for that one.
And then To the Outer Limits, my rewatch Outer Limits show with Gabe Hardman and Andy Parks and Jeff Parker and Ian Brill and my buddy William Meyer. They might all join us for that. And then Friday evening, pardon me. Great DC comic writer and former Star Trek comic book writer and novelist Michael Jan Friedman will be joining me. Talking about his Kickstarter. He's got a really cool Aztec detective series in genre fiction that he has created. His second book is the purpose of the Kickstarter, but also he will certainly talk a lot of Star Trek as well. And I'm really excited to talk to him because I'm a longtime reader. Among the Star Trek novels that he wrote the Next Generation X-Men novel crossover.
Okay.
If you remember that.
I remember it existed.
Yeah. So I'm really excited to talk to him, see if he's got any opinion.
I'm that rare thing. I'm a casual Star Trek fan. Definitely not. I do not hold a candle to you in that regard in any way.
Oh, dude. Literally has had my attention for over 50 years, which is sad but true. As a 56-year-old man, I can honestly say I've been watching Star Trek for 50 years.
There you go.
So, yikes.
There you go.
Can't help it. But there you go. Thank you, Fred, as always. And then again, look for Ryan Dunleavy, Fred's co-creator.
That's right. Put his ass on the hot seat.
Absolutely. No, I look forward to talking to him more about the comic book history of animation. Folks, I've read the first 3 issues. It is amazing. It is loaded with information. It is hilarious to look at and read. And once again, if you enjoyed the comic book history of comics, action presidents, action philosophers, the whole milieu pop history with Fred and Ryan. You will not be disappointed in this series, I'm sure. And you shouldn't wait for the trade, because every issue is so densely packed with anecdotes and stories. Truly, this is no hyperbole, Fred. I always love what you guys do. You guys always deliver. It is amazing.
You,
and as any nerd geek fan, we all grew up on cartoons. You get to see it from the very beginning to modern age.
Absolutely.
Can't recommend it enough. So thank you, my man. Well done.
Thank you.
And everybody,
next time. And I guess this is our last trivia for the 2020. So
you're right. Absolutely,
we
man.
all have something to look forward to in 2021.
So Merry Christmas to you and Crystal, and all the best for New Year's. And I'm sure it's going to be a quiet. We'll all be at home binging whatever we're watching.
That's right.
Will we watch the original Ocean's 11? That
sure. There you go.
Revolves around. It's so very few good New Year's Eve movies, but that's my favorite New Year's Eve movie.
That's true.
So, very funny. Everybody, Thank you very much for watching. Stay safe. Stay happy.